this all started. Give me a second. My computer's like bogging out on me. There it is. Alright, let's see if I got this popped up. Alright, good. Look. Look. We're all alive. Oh. No, I didn't buy this, by the way. I have been, trying to work and earn more money and earn everything else and get everything straight, and I'm kind of fucking confused. I don't care. Take it. It don't bother me. You load up all the fertilizer, then you can load up all the seed. I don't care. Don't bother me any. So, anyhow. Tonight's topic. It is okay to disagree with anything. If you don't like something, it's perfectly fine to disagree with it. Understand, facts do not care about feelings. Facts are facts. Separate them. It's just, honestly, it's been one of those days that you're ready to go to war with the entire world. I don't know if anybody else has been into that, but it's like ready to go to war with the entire world. And people are just against everything you have to say. A perfect example. When somebody says, well, you're President Trump, it's like, yo, retard. You live in this country too, so he was your president too. Not just mine, he's yours too. Well, he wasn't my president. Yes, he was. These are simple arguments that I've been getting into. Do they make sense? No, not really. But, I'm sorry, my mama taught me respect. If I don't like somebody who's in office or who's doing something, I have been taught to respect them anyhow. You see, I don't know. Maybe it's just my family raised me right or something. I don't know, but I've been taught to respect the people around me. I don't have to be happy with their decisions, but respect them anyhow. Why is it so hard for people to understand that? I don't understand why people cannot understand that. If I'm not happy with the political party that's in, I'm not happy with it. I'm not going to be like, well, that's not my president, or that's not my governor, or that's not my... Yes, it actually is. Because by saying that it's not mine, makes me sound really retarded. Especially when they say, oh, well, your license says that you live in this state and you're in this country, so technically it is your president, or it is your governor, or it is your mayor, or whatever. That's like going to work and saying, you're not my boss, to the owner of the company. You know how retarded that sounds? By looking at the owner of your company and saying, well, you're not my boss, you can't tell me what to do. Makes you look like an idiot. Don't it? I mean, this is just my opinion on things. I have no problem saying that. It's my opinion on how all this rolls. I'm not a genius or anything, but I mean, my parents didn't raise somebody who's stupid. Like when you get called out to, and you say, hey, now this is not an opinion, this is fact. Hey, you know that the president is coming to take away guns and ammo, right? And make you get special, like, permission to get guns and ammo when your Second Amendment states that you have the right to have the guns and ammo. You like how I put that? You have the right as a citizen for guns and ammo. It's called the Second Amendment. I don't know how many people's ever read it or researched it. But yes, there is a thing called a Second Amendment that says you have the right to bear arms. I mean, if somebody needs me to pop it up and actually read it, I have no problem with it. But I have the right to bear arms. So when you're starting to impede on my Second Amendment, yes, I have a problem with that. Yes, I'm going to speak up. And when somebody says, well, you have no proof that they're coming for your guns and everything, don't tell me that I have no proof. Because if you go under joebiden.com for the weapon, well, for the guns and ammo, you know, new guns and ammo laws he's trying to bring in, there's proof right there that says he's trying to restrict guns and ammo. And then if you look under HR 127, it states in there that they're trying to restrict weapons and ammo. Wait. So that's dead proof saying that they're trying to take our guns. They're trying to take our ammo. That's proof saying it. But when I hand somebody facts like that, and they say, well, you're just an idiot. Oh man, do you know how bad that upsets me? That is one of the worst things in the world. When you hand out some proof, and they're like, well, Nixon had this whole war on drugs, but nothing ever happened about that. Well, that ain't my problem. He had this war on drugs, nothing occurred out of it. You should speak up and say something. Ain't that what America is about? Having the right to speak up against something that you disagree with? That's one of the best things about this country. I do not have to fear that I'm going to lose my life, or I shouldn't have to fear that I'm going to lose my life if I voice my opinion. I shouldn't have to have the fear. That's protected under something, what's that called again? Oh yes, the First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. I have the right to voice my opinion and not really fear prosecution upon it. Wow. You know, I act dumb for a reason. Because I hate when people just ask me stupid questions all the time. So if I act dumb at work, I even told my foreman this. I act dumb just so people don't ask me questions. He looks at me and he goes, you know what? That's the smartest thing I've ever heard you say. And it makes sense. Because me and him actually got into some debates. Me, my foreman, who else was there? I got into some debates with acting foremans that I've had, stuff like that. I've actually sat back and talked to them, and they look at me and they're like, you really do just act dumb all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Ain't it awesome? They're like, you play it so well. I'm like, well, yeah. Practice makes perfect. And they're like, I can't believe your IQ is actually that high. And it's kind of fun to play with people like that. It really is. My ex-wife that I had, she challenged me like all the time. And it was so funny. Like, she would ask me a question, I would answer it, and then she would like jump on Google. Like, as she's asking me the question, she's on Google typing it in for an answer. My favorite question that she's ever asked me: what is the Earth's largest satellite? And I looked over at her and said, well, it's the moon. And she's like, no, it's not. I said, well, if you go by definition of what a satellite is and the size of what the moon is, yes. Yes, it is. So she looks it up on Google and she's like, I hate you. I'm like, oh, I must be right. And then she jumps onto the whole, how'd she put the one? She asked me another question. She thought that the moon created its own light source, or was its own light source type deal. And I sat back for 15 minutes describing to her how the moon is not its own light source and how the size of the Earth versus the light from the sun, how it is in waves and can go around the Earth because of the size of the waves and everything. And I sometimes just go over people's heads. Because the sun's light is emitted in two ways. It's emitted in a ray, okay, which is a straight line, and it's emitted into a wave. And since it's in both a wave and a straight line, how if you put an object in front of it, how the light can somewhat make it around, but not very well. I had to explain that. It was rather interesting because she looked up, like, can the moon make its own light? And the answer is no. Yeah. I just was more detailed about it. Don't worry, the guys at work, they love to play this whole game with me of how short can his story be, because it's never short. And they're like, as soon as they ask me a question at work, you always hear one of them say, oh God, this is going to take forever. And me, I love how I say it back. Well, you asked, so I need to give details. I hate leaving out details on it. So it's actually kind of funny how all that goes. I work with a pretty good group, honestly. I try to surround myself with as many good people as what I can find. You see, always surround yourself with good people, and always surround yourself with people that's smarter than you are. I try to keep by that as much as I can. Because if I surround myself with smart people, that helps me learn. If I surround myself with good people, that helps me become a better person. We're gonna get some sound. Ooh, hope that's not too loud. I'll kick it down a notch. As I explained on the last video, how the heat works in this house, it sucks at best. and how it makes everything so much hotter up here. But yes, as I went on with it, I try to explain things the best that I can to people. And then I try to change the forms of how I explain it to make it easier for people to understand. Because I understand that not everybody learns in the same way. I had a professor in college. Good guy, real good guy, Dr. Chu. Dr. Chu had his wife as a professor at the same college, and that was Mrs. Dr. Chu. But Dr. Chu, Mr. Dr. Chu, I had him in class. And with him in class, he would always be like, "Is that clear?" He's from like Korea or something. "Is that clear? Is that clear?" And I'd say, "As a brick wall." So he would come over and say, "What part is not clear?" And I would be like, "The whole thing." And he goes, "Ah, you see, you not thinking." I understood. No? I'm so confused now. He goes, "You understand 1 plus 1 equal 2. Well, yeah, duh. He goes, "Oh, so you understand that part of the equation?" Well, yeah. So, what exactly is it you do not understand? And that's the part that I liked about him. He would break it down. He understood that not everybody learns in the same way. So he broke everything down, changed his entire way of teaching, because I would stay after class with him so I could actually pass the class. He changed his entire way of thinking and his entire way of how he presented the class to help me learn it. Thing is if you don't use it, you lose it. So when I stopped going to college and stopped doing all the math and everything, do not ask me how to do it. Because the answer is very easy. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, people at work that I'm with, it's actually really cool because I work with this one chick. From my experience with her, gonna put it that way, with my experience working with her, she is very outgoing. And she likes to joke around and everything. But she's not a bad person. If that makes any sense. I mean, 95% of the people I work with, they ain't bad. Awkward. Not bad. So, she would ask me, like, "Why is the sky blue?" And from the military, I have the military answer. Well, because God loves the infantry. So right after that, she said, "So why is the grass green?" And because of the military, blood. Blood makes the grass grow green. She never asked me why the grass is green ever again. But, I mean, then she's like, "No, give me a real answer on why the sky is blue." So I spent 20 minutes on the radio, because we were radioing back and forth, we were flagging back and forth, whatever. I spent 20 minutes on the radio explaining to her how the angle of the sunlight coming through the denseness of the atmosphere causes the reflection to be a different color. I think that'd be the right wording. And that was so easy. But then, like tonight, when I argue with people, about things I don't understand that's happening, and I say, hey, this just don't make sense. In my point of view, it don't make sense. And I say something's wrong. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. Or they just skip over, me saying that. And when I would ask them, so, is it wrong if this person does it? Well, yes, it's wrong. Well, what if this person does it? Is it wrong? And they don't answer. And I'm like, wait a second. Why is it fair for one side but not the other? You see, here's about as political as I'm going to get on this theory, okay? And it's going to be screwed up, backwards, and everything else. But here's my outlook on it. I think that the Democrats and the Republicans are working together. Kind of goofy to say that because they're so polar. But think about it. What's the best way to take over anybody? It's called divide and conquer. I mean, we've all heard it. There's no real difference in it. You divide people up and then you conquer them with ease. Right? So, my question being is, if I divide this nation into two, just cut them right in half, it'd be easier to take it over, wouldn't it? It's kind of screwy, ain't it? I mean, it's okay to agree with me. It's one of the screwiest and stupidest things that anybody could ever think of. But it works. And that's the scariest part. So, my opinion? I think that the Democrats are guilty. I think Republicans are just as guilty. Together, they are destroying this country. I mean, this is my opinion on it. It really is. It's my opinion. Republicans and Democrats are just trying to destroy the country. Neither one of them is having the respect that they should for each other. I mean, I had somebody state on my Facebook, I'm gonna treat this president just like you treated my president. And I said, my parents raised me better than that. My parents raised me that I will treat everybody with respect. Whether they honestly deserve it or not, you still give them respect. It's just how it is. I might not be happy with somebody. I might hate everything that they stand for and everything, but you still respect them at the end. Why is it that Republicans, Democrats, neutral party, I don't care, none of them are giving proper respect back and forth? It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. It really is. It makes us look like barbarians. As a nation, we look like barbarians. We have other countries that are straight out laughing at us because of this, and we're allowing it. I mean, look at the history books. We are the country that everybody has went to whenever they needed something. And now, I guess we're the country that everybody goes to when they need a laugh. Because that's how we look to everybody. And it upsets me. World War II, the Japanese general stated never invade mainland America. There are more guns, or no, there is a gun behind every blade of grass. We were like the country that people needed to go to protect themselves or protect anybody, you know? If your country needs help, come to America, we'll save you. But now, I agree with the Republic. The South should have won for a real reason of the war, not this BS crap came and started. Even state should be there. Okay, if okay, so you're stating that this during the Civil War, the South should have won because of it being a confederacy and every state should be governed as a separate nation, basically, but all be connected together as one country. If I'm correct on that. Honestly, how I have learned it, and I've talked to historians because I love the Civil War. I really do. I think the Civil War was the worst thing ever, but it was very amazing. Alright, let me break this down on this thought. It's amazing because it is one of the only wars ever, and when I say ever, I actually mean ever, to turn brother against brother. Turn father against son, mother against daughter. It's the war that did that. And to have such controversy. Now, do I believe that the South should have won? Well, technically, the South beat the North in every single battle that there was. Until Gettysburg. Alright? If you really look at it, the South should have technically won, but what happened in Gettysburg, one, General Lee, I believe that you can look this up, General Lee, one, was dealing with food poisoning. Two, he was not in the right frame of mind because I guess his son was just captured. Okay. And the other thought is, I mean, the South needed the slaves to survive. It's screwed up to say it like that. It really is. But it's kind of honest. The South did need the slaves to survive. Because the slaves were the biggest income. And the really funny part is about it, okay? The slaves were the skilled workers. Nobody ever looks at it like that. The slaves actually were the skilled workers at the time in the South. They did everything for everybody. So when everybody said, okay, well, when the war was over and everybody's like, hey, well, I need a blacksmith. Do you know a good blacksmith? It's like, yeah, that former slave over there. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to deal with him. He's black. Well, honestly, you've already dealt with blacks as slaves, so that's kind of hypocritical. And two, he's probably the best damn blacksmith that you have, dumbass. Oops. Shouldn't have said that, but it's honest. You see where I'm going? You're right, and you're wrong about the war not starting over the slaves. You're kind of right, and you're kind of wrong on it. I mean, it started because of money. Yes. Greed. What a wonderful thing. Like I was saying, the North was more industrialized than the South. And since the North was more industrialized over the South, it had better revenues and prosperity and all that over the South because the South was using the slaves for all the work and everything. It needed them. They didn't have the machinery at the time to pick the tobacco. They didn't have the machinery at the time to pick cotton. They didn't have all the machinery. Now, at the time, if they had the machinery at the time, we've never needed the slaves. You see, and the other thing that bothers me on that is the first slave owner in America was black. Kind of weird. But, I mean, yeah, I believe that the South technically won more of the battles than the North did. They did. But winners write history. Name a loser that ever wrote a good history book. I mean, it's just a thought on the matter. And now, there's something else that bothers me. It really does. It kind of hurts. Why are we trying to get rid of our past? You're supposed to keep the dark moments close to you. You're supposed to keep the past with you. If you keep the past with you, you learn from it. You understand that you made mistakes. You understand that things weren't right. Why erase this when we should be saying, hey, yes, I screwed up. Yes, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Why keep it silent? Everybody has their dark times. I don't care who you are. You've had a dark time. I mean, just to say, hey, I want to forget about it and it's over. Yeah, I agree with that. That the slave part was BS. We should be able to all get along. I agree with that. That's why I say it real simply. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're Democratic. I don't care about any of that. I believe it is okay to agree to disagree. Having slaves was wrong. That's not hard for me to say at all. Because I believe it. I believe it was wrong to have slaves. But by one group of people using that to fall back on, I believe that that's wrong too. Makes me wonder who is the most racist race. Yes, you learn from your mistakes, yet I agree. And multiple for me. Yeah, we have all had multiple mistakes. Trust me. It's kind of funny that me and you might have had the same one. Ooh, burn. But who's the most racist race? I mean, how can I put this? I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. Because I have an answer. I really do. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Let's do this first. It depends on where you are. How about I start it with that? It depends on where you are. Okay? Because as American race, you know how many countries hate us? I mean, like, want us, like, completely exterminated. There's lots of places. Alright? But, I mean, if you're going color-wise, okay? Color-wise, I don't... How can I put this? I've met, from my experiences, I've met white guys that are really racist. And I didn't like it. But I've met black people that are really racist against whites. I don't agree with that either. Well, every race was a slave at some point. Some still are. You're right. Perfect example. I met a guy while I was in college who was in the Navy. He was Navy Reserve. He switched from regular Navy over to Navy Reserve so he could go to college. And then after that, he was going to go back into full-time. Alright. And when I met him, he was telling me about how he would go over to Somalia and go after pirates and everything, you know, North Africa area, and hunt pirates. Well, those pirates have slaves. And if you ever watched the movie Blood Diamond, that's a good movie. It really is. But well, the movie Blood Diamond actually explains about how slavery still exists to this day over in Africa. I mean, it's not as predominant as it once was, but still there. But all in all, anymore, it's kind of funny, okay? Because I guess your skin color depends on depends on who you can be and what you can get in life. On both aspects. It really does. And it's sad. Because I was hearing a story just the other day about a guy in college and his buddy was trying to get a scholarship for being African American or something. And when he went in to get the scholarship, they kind of snickered at him because he's white from Africa. And I guess the comment was like the woman that he was like trying to talk to get the scholarship or whatever. She's like, you can't be African because you're white. And he comes back at her with, you do know South Africa is was a British colony, correct? And British people are white, and I was born in South Africa, which makes me African. So why can't I have the scholarship? And she's like, because you're not dark enough. And he's like, aren't you being kind of racist? For some odd reason, she got upset about it. I don't understand why. He called her out for it. Which, honestly, it's kind of funny with this concept, but a guy I was going to college with, he described himself one time to me as being African American. And I told him I don't like that terminology. And he asked me why I do not like it. And I told him, because you're not. And we started talking about it. And he's like, okay, explain this to me why you do not like when I say that I'm African American. I said, where are you from? That's a really simple question, ain't it? Where are you from? His answer being Washington, D.C., approximately 3 blocks from the White House. I said, okay. Where's your mama from? And he told me where she was from. I said, where's your grandma from? And he told me what state she's from. So when he tells me the states that they are from, I said, so, how are you African American? He goes, dude, look at me, I'm black. I said, you are 100% correct, you are black. But you are not African American. And he goes, how am I not African American? I said, dude, you just told me where your mom's from. You told me where your grandma's from. You told me that they are both from America. I said, so how are you African American? By saying that you are African American states that you have dual citizenship. And dude, you've never been to Africa. He goes, you're right, I haven't. I said, so, from how I see it, is you have more D vitamin in your skin than I do. Or melanin, or whatever it's called. In your skin than I do. Which causes your skin to be darker than mine. But you are still an American, right, with me. The only difference between us is where we grew up. You grew up in the city, I grew up in the country, but we are both Americans. We are here together, to learn together, to work together, to become productive members of the American society, you know? We are to be productive in this country together. And he's like, dude, I never thought about it like that. I said, dude, you never opened your eyes. You see, he was awesome. Now, in college and in the military, I have met true African Americans. I mean, they're 100% African American. Dude, where are you from? South Africa. And why are you here? Because I got my citizenship here. My fiance is getting her citizenship here. We are becoming expatriates of our countries and moving to America, and this is this and this is this. Or, hey, why are you here? Well, I'm going to school here because the schools are better here and I can become an American here. You like how I said that? I can become an American? Or another one that I heard. I'm from this country. I was born in Britain, or I was born in Germany, but my parents are US citizens. I've heard that before too. So these people have dual citizenship because they're actually from another country and they're becoming a citizen here, or they are, one of their parents are from here or something like that, which will put them as American and whatever country they are. But all in all, dude, we're just Americans. I don't care what color you are. I care that you are a productive member of society. That's where I care. Other than that, don't matter. It can be from China, Mexico, whatever. It don't matter. And it shouldn't matter. I mean, if we're all trying to get together for one common goal, and that's to make this country better than what it is, and have better futures for our kids, I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem at all. I mean, I hear all these stories about all these different people from all these different places, and it's like, wow. And then we have these wars here over stupid crap. It's so pathetic. I mean, I'm completely baffled with this stupidity. Why are we fighting each other? We shouldn't be. It's like everybody has enemies. Everybody does. I don't care. Everybody has enemies type deal. And these people that want to come against America is sitting back and they're like, they're killing themselves. We don't have to do it. You know? They're killing themselves so we don't have to. 7. And it's so sickening to see this and hear this. Like I said, I mean, why can we not just say, hey, I have a different opinion of you, I look at things differently than you, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? We need to have this theory. It's a really cool theory. And it would work. I am glad that we're different. Yeah, I mean, I sat in I was at a TA. It was late at night. True story, homies. Just remember, like they say at work, my stories can last for a while. So, I was at a TA. And I saw this guy talking, well, sitting down and doing this research and everything. And I decided to start talking to him because that's just who I am. And he tells me his religious studies. Because that's what it is that he's working on, is religious studies. So I started telling him about my religion. You know? Just a back and forth thing. And then this other guy came in. And he's telling us about... He jumps in and starts saying about his religion. We're talking for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours that night. You know, a lot of people's ways it is. Yeah. But we were talking for, I don't know, 3, 4 hours that night. Actually, it was more into the evening, not like late at night. And we started talking and talking and talking. We're just talking about our different religions. And we all know how people get about religion. I was so dumbfounded when the three of us, with 3 different religions, came together. None of us ever said that the other person was wrong. We all thanked each other for teaching us about their religion and how they see things. And we all tried to connect how our religions are, like, connected together. You know, so we could see how the other person thinks a little bit better. And as we're doing this, we noticed that the waitress was, like, having one of those really bad nights. Like, somebody gave her, like, 2 pennies on their meal for a, you know, for her tip. And she was telling us about how her car's breaking down, having problems, and she just needed to get some, you know, some of that weight off of her chest. We all listened to her. Well, when we walked out, each of the 3 of us left a tip for her. Whatever our bill was, alright, we paid a little bit extra on that, you know, like $1 or whatever extra. And each of the 3 of us left her a $20 tip. Just to help out with her night. And how that came about was, like, amazing. 3 different religions coming together. And we all had the same complaints. That nobody listens to each other. Like I said, my family taught me respect. They did. I remember I had, my mama gave me the dictionary and said, "Here, you will write the whole definition of respect 50 times. You will know more about respect than anybody else around you." And honestly, I learned it. Mama also always said that you can only raise your kids halfway. They gotta do the other half themselves. Kinda cool. I never looked at things that way. She was a little bit on... she is. I can't say she was. I mean, she is a little bit on the different side. But I like it. Who would want a mother that's the same as everybody else's mother? That'd be boring. Couldn't get anything done then. This is the most goofy looking cultivator I've ever seen. But I guess it's real. No, we don't use them around here like this. I think it's like just too long and repetitive. H. Go. Ah, there we go. Now. Field 5. No, not even touching that. Field 5. Sounds good. Accept contract, borrow items. Back. Here we go. I mean, I'm glad that everybody's different. I'm glad that not everybody's same political view as me. I'm glad everybody has their own way of thinking about things. I'm glad that people come up with different ideas. Different strokes for different folks, as we call it. I'm glad. That makes me happy because of the simple fact of it brings diversity. And not like, I mean, there was a discussion at work on this, on diversity. We had a discussion on diversity at work. And it came out with, you got 3 people applying for this one job, okay? One person's been doing it for 50 years. Say the first white guy's been doing it for 50 years. Let's just say he's driving truck. This white guy's been driving truck for 50 years. The next white guy, alright, just the theory. The next white guy has been driving truck for 10 years with a perfect record. Alright. Well then, you get, I don't care what race it is. Alright. Hell, I'm just gonna say like some Chinese guy. This is just example. Oh, what field am I even going to? 5. You get this Chinese guy that's never drove a truck in his life. Alright? He's only been on like mopeds in China. He just came to America. He doesn't understand our infrastructure or anything on our roads. And you say, we need diversity, so let's hire him and put him as an over-the-road truck driver. Is that a smart idea? You got a guy that has 50 years experience. You got a guy that has like 10 years experience. With clean records. And you want to take this guy just because he's Chinese and stick him into this field? I mean, I will go with the I am exaggerating on it, whatnot. But it's the point being, I don't care what race you are, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what political affiliation. Hell, you could be like a vampiristic person, whatever you want to call it, that thinks that they need to sleep in a coffin. Alright? If you're qualified for the job, then you're the right person. I don't care about your diversity. I care about your ability. Is that the right way to say it? Your diversity is not going to help me. If you go down the road because you go down the wrong lane, whatever, because you can't read, and you kill 5 people, that is my problem now. If that is my company, that is my problem. Makes sense? That's how bad some of this is. Oh. Just go like this. You be aight. Like I said though, it's not about needing to have diversity versus needing to have the job done correctly. That's what I worry about. I want somebody who can do the job correctly over diversity. If the only person who applies for the job is a thief and you have to have diversity, does that mean that you have to hire a thief? Well, why did you get fired from your last 6 jobs? I stole cars. I was valet and stole cars. Well, that's wrong, you know? That is 100% wrong. Yeah, Virgil, you're probably like a minute behind on everything. It's kind of funny, but that's how it just works out. Mixed with landlines, how the information is set, that the computer already puts a 20 or 30-second delay onto everything. But I mean, that's just how things work out. Is you get forced into doing something that's not correct. And I think it's bad. Another thing that I hate about it all, and this is how our system is working. Another thing that I hate about how our system works is how people can live off of the government. You see, I believe assistance is good. Assistance is an amazing thing. But when you actually have people that sit back and have kids so they don't have to work, or they need a new TV or something, that is bad. Yeah, I just got the LOL. So if that tells you how far you are behind. I know somebody who has kids so they don't work. Never actually had a real job in their life. Had kids. Because it was easier and more effective. And then, my favorite part, complains when they don't have anything, or complains when their vehicle breaks down, or complains, when something's going wrong. And I sit back, give this I don't know, the face that I do, when I give this like dumbfounded look, like you're complaining about being handed money to buy a vehicle, that your vehicle keeps breaking, but you were given money to get the vehicle, and you're complaining? I'm at a loss for words. How? How is it that you are complaining about free? I had it where I had to work because my vehicle wasn't working. So don't say anything about your free vehicle not taking you to the store. Yeah, your free vehicle. I had to walk to the store 100 times because I didn't have a vehicle. And this is how it goes consistently with me. Contract on field 8 is over. Collect. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't have a free vehicle for you because you're working. You make too much in taxes. Well, you know how you can save on taxes? This is my theory. You know how you can save on taxes? By stop giving everybody the damn money. Well, if you don't give them the money, then you might hurt their feelings. Oh, trust me, I'll be here. I'm going to be getting off here in a minute too because it's about that time and I know that these kids are going to be up in the morning and everything. But, alright, yeah, I'll get a hold of you later or something. But, alright, yeah, you're probably right. So, I'm going to end this as I always do. As soon as I'm starting to pick up here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to end it here, everybody. So, as I always say, good day, good night, good evening, good whatever it is when you are watching this video. Have a good night, be safe, have fun, and I will talk to you on the next one.